Hey guys, it's Doc Apocalypse back again for another Kamigawa spoiler season. This is going to be the Saga edition. I think they've released all the sagas that they've got for this edition. I may be wrong, I may have to add another video later. But we've got a good bit of them, so let's go ahead and hop right into it with the first saga. First one's going to be Befriending the Moths. Alright, it's a 3 and a white. Target creature you control gets a +1/+1, gains flying until end of turn. Not a big fan of end of turns, but you get it twice and they get flying, so it's a bit of evasion. And at turn 4 in mono white, that's usually a pretty big thing that you kind of want it to be flying. But there is a lot of competition with this, and it is slow. I mean, it's a saga, for Christ's sakes. But these sagas are really cool. They're way different than the old sagas, because on the third step, you exile the saga and return it to the battlefield transformed under its control. So it's an MDFC kind of. It's got a backside. Backside says it's an Imperial Moth. Pretty cool art, actually. But it's just a 2/4 with flying. So it's got evasion, but nothing else. It's a small, big dumb creature. Pretty cool flavor text, but it is lackluster, and I see it playing some limited just because of its price. Again, I mean, it's 4 mana, so in limited, in draft, that's fine. In standard, 4 mana is a lot in white. Green white Selesnya or white black, I guess, not bad, but I mean, it's just flying. So on to the next one. Next one, we've got Era of Lightenment. 1 and a white for, again, a basic saga, or a common saga. First step is Scry 2. Scrying 2 is always fun. It's not necessarily helpful, but being able to fix land screw or fix flooding on your top deck is kind of nice. Second step, you gain 2 life, so you drew that first card that you left it on top. And then the third step, obviously, again, you exile the saga and you transform it. It transforms into Hand of Enlightenment, which is a 2/2 first strike. I like this better than the Moth, even though the Moth has basically almost the same stats because it's a 2/4. Having that first strike, it gets around a lot of the chump blocks that you would use for another 2/2. I mean, I would use a wolf all day to chump block this creature if I knew it was going to kill it, or block it if I knew they were going to trade. I'd trade a wolf all day from a ranger class or whatever all day for this, just to get it off the battlefield. But when it's got first strike, it becomes a big pain in the ass. Now I have to block it with something at least 3 power, which limits what I can block it with. So, again, pretty cool flavor text, but limited, that's it. 4 out of 10, maybe even less. I'm not super happy about it, but again, beggars can't be choosers, and this is a cool way that they've changed sagas into something that's a little more meaningful, but it's not like the crazy lands sagas. But anyway, next one, we've got Michikayos Reign of Truth. I know I butchered that, and I'm like 90% positive that name comes from previous Kamigawas, and so yeah, this is, I'm sorry. Anyway, for the first 2 steps, it says target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and or enchantment you control. That's pretty cool. There's Enchantress decks, not so much in standard that I've seen, but again, there are Enchantress decks. This could be a cool commander card, just because, I mean, Enchantress decks would love this. All right, but it is still the end of turn, you know, so you can only attack with it essentially. There's no blocking with a big honking, you know, 1/1 token that's got a whole bunch of enchantments laying around doing all sorts of other crazy stuff. But it automatically gives you at least 1/1/1 because it is an enchantment itself. So there is that. But its backside is pretty cool. I like it better than the front side. Its backside is Portrait of Said Person. Portrait gets a +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. This is really cool because we just came out of the set with blood tokens, which has a ton of ways to get artifacts onto the battlefield and have them sitting around doing essentially nothing, because blood tokens for the main part is not used to pseudo rummage. It's to do whatever else that card's doing, and you just get a blood token, and then if you're getting flooded real bad, you can start discarding lands out of your hand to try to get that card advantage back. Where now those enchantments, all those artifact blood tokens blow this thing up. So I really do see white, this would be like a red-white combo or a white-black combo. That would be pretty powerful. But again, we'll go to the next one. Behold the Unspeakable. It's 3 and a blue for a uncommon saga. First step, creatures you don't control get a -2/-0 until next turn. That's kind of cool. So all the creatures on the battlefield that aren't yours get -2/-0. So it's not a sweeper, but it is I can swing through and maybe not die with the creatures that I have. It is at 5 though, so sitting at 5 CMC, that's -2/-2 might not get your little ones through. But we're in blue, so yeah, I don't know how much that matters. It might just be more or less I don't die on your turn because your creatures are now a lot weaker, and I have enough life to survive until I get through. And we're at 5. Blue is notorious for needing ways to keep their hands full, and if you don't get that card advantage cards into your hand that you've got built into the deck, it can be really difficult, especially if they're kind of slinging some heavy bombs early and you're burning through all your counterspells, burning through all the lands, trying to get stabilized and get into that control rhythm. So step 2, if you have one or fewer cards in your hand, so 1 or none, draw 4 cards. That is awesome. Otherwise, scry 2, then draw 2. So that's not bad either. So you're going to end up with at least 4 cards in your hand. If you've got more than 1 card in your hand, you get to scry 2, draw 2. If you have 1 or less, you get to just straight up draw 4, impulsive draw 4. That's cool. I like that a lot. Blue's gonna really take advantage of this. And then obviously 3rd step, exile it. Get your backside. The backside says it's a Vision of the Unspeakable. It's got Flample, Flying and Trample. It's an enchantment creature spirit with Vision of the Unspeakable, gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand. We've seen cards like this in the past that are pretty good. Let's see, Mordenkainen had that Spirit Dog that based its power and toughness off of cards in your hand. So basically the same exact text, except it didn't have Flying and Trample. This is a really good card. I like this a lot. I don't know if I put it in like every single blue deck, but this is definitely going to be a limited and standard playable card for sure in my eyes. Next one is the Modern Age. It's 1 and a blue. First 2 steps are the same. Draw a card, then discard a card. Meh. Rummaging sucks. And I think I'm using that term right. I believe it's rummaging. Yeah, but draw a card, then discard a card is kind of eh. It's better than discard a card and then draw a card like blood tokens. But at least if you draw another land, you can just be like, oh, I don't want that land. I'm going to keep the creature land or something. So there is that. And then the backside, you exile it, and you get Vector Glider. It's pretty cool art. It's an enchantment creature spirit. Again, it's just a 2/3 flyer. For, what was it, 2 mana? I'm sorry, 2 CMC? Yeah, 2 CMC. Get a 2/3 flyer. Two rummages, so it's a slow 2/3 flyer for 2. Nope, not good. Not good in my books. Not good. Very, very fringe limited play. No standard play. No commander play. I don't see a deck where this really matters. Not because it's not actually drawing cards. It's just filtering. Not my thing. Alrighty, next one. Life of Toshiro Umezawa. I'll get that name right eventually. First 2, you get to choose one. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, so EOTs. And then target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Or you gain 2 life. There's a lot of things that mean something to gain 2 life. and you can punch away one of their tokens, or you can buff up one of your things for the first 2 turns to just bide your time until you get to the backside. When you get to the backside, remember this is 2 CMC. All right, your backside is Memory of Toshiro. It's an enchantment creature, human samurai, which samurais are important in this deck, or in this set. You tap it and pay 1 life, and you add a black. All right, spend this mana only to cast instants and sorcery spells. That is cool. Black has removal out the yin yang still, and having an extra mana to be able to play removal is awesome. And you can hold 1 stupid land up that is not a removal color, have him on the field, and your Infernal Grasp, I believe it's Infernal Grasp, it's an instant, you can still play it. You can still use it, because you can just tap him on their turn, pay the life, and sack it, or not sack it, but add that black mana, and then destroy that creature. That is really good. It's a 2/3. It's a human samurai, and you can be unblockable with some of the other cards that we have in this set already. That say samurais, if they attack alone, are unblockable or get indestructible or get all sorts of craziness. So samurais mean a lot, and there's tons of things that say, hey, if you have, or you get to add this if you have this many samurais or whatever. There's really cool things. So mint card, I like it a lot. It's going to see limited and standard play. The Shattered States Era. All right, it's 4 and a red. It's a good card, especially considering it's common. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. So if they've got 2 big beaters, you take one of them and you swing it at him and say, you kill your own creature or you take the damage. I like that a lot. Or if you have a sack outlet and you just want to take their big bad and sack it for a pest token or something. I mean, there's so many ways it can be used. I mean, that would be hilarious. You find a way to sack it for, you get a 1/1 spirit back for their 10/10 something. That would be really cool. Anyway, and then it goes to step 2 in the next turn. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's not as exciting as taking their creatures. It's not as fun. It's also not as salty for them, but just being able to buff everything 1 power is kind of nice. And then you go to the backside for the last turn. All right, you got Nameless Conqueror. It's an enchantment creature, human samurai. Another samurai. It's a 3/3 this time instead of a 2/3, like their black one. Has trample and haste. So no activated abilities on this, just straight up trample and haste. But trample and haste for a 3/3 at this cost. I mean, you're going to be playing this essentially on turn 4. You're going to be swinging with this on turn 4. That's pretty cool. A 3/3 on turn 4 with haste and trample, running over your mono whites 1/1s or whatever they got left over after they swing in. It's pretty cool. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of a flavorless, I mean, funless card after the step 1. It's a good beater. I like it. It's going to see play in both standard and limited. I don't know how much on standard. Definitely going to see a lot of play. I'm going to play the crap out of this in limited. Next one. All right, we're into greens already. Azusa's Many Journeys. It's a 1 and a green. First one, you say you may play an additional land this turn. This is a druid class, but it's only for 1 step, but it costs less because you can only pay the additional land on step 2. But anyway, play an additional land this turn. That's cool. Get to ramp a little bit as long as you have it in your hand. Pretty cool. Step 2, gain 3 life. That's always good. Green likes to gain life. There's things that matter for gaining life. And then step 3, you exile the saga and you get Likeness of the Seeker. All right, it's an enchantment creature, human monk. Whenever Likeness Seeker becomes blocked, untap up to 3 lands you control. So this is going to mean that you got a lot of you're gonna have to be using your lands early, like first main phase before combat, at least 3 of them, playing out something, Scoot Swarm, whatever you want to play out, to get those 3 lands tapped, so that in the case that this 3/3 gets blocked, which a lot of people, it kind of gives itself its own evasion, because do we really want to give do I want to give my opponent 3 extra lands? Essentially, like, it's mana ramp on a stick for this. I mean, that's pretty crazy. If you leave it unblocked, you take 3. If you leave it blocked, I get to spend 3 more mana this turn. Like, that's really, really good. I like this a lot. I think it's definitely gonna see standard play and a lot of limited play. All right, next one. Boseyju, Bougie reaches skyward. I don't know how to say it. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. 3 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards. Reveal them. Put them into your hand and then shuffle. The reveal them part, I never really understood that. I get it. Like, you want to prevent cheating, I guess. I mean, or maybe I can identify which ones are which if you don't have matching lands. Cool. Whatever. Reveal them. They go to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. Shuffling the deck's the most important part here, and getting the extra lands in your hand. But shuffling the deck's the most important part here. I like that a lot. Put up to 1 target card from your graveyard on top of your library. 1 target land card, sorry. 1 target land card. So this cares more about milling or getting milled. If you don't have a way to get lands into your graveyard, this could be really kind of a dead in hand step 2, which would suck a lot. It doesn't say search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put them into your graveyard. No, they go into your hand. So you're filtering lands into your hand. You didn't filter any out into your graveyard yet, unless you've got some other way to get them there. Someone's been milling you. So step 2 could really be just wait a turn. That's what Bougie reaches skyward says, is wait a turn. And step 3, you exile it, and you get Branch of Bougie. Alright? It is a 0/0 enchantment creature plant with reach, because, hey, it reaches. Branch of Bougie gets +1/+1 for each land you control. We've seen this before. We've seen how powerful it is. Look at Renin 7. It's got a token generator based on lands, and those tree folk are disgusting. They are kill on sight. This is going to be a kill on sight enchantment creature plant. And like I said in a previous episode, the downside to this is it is a creature, so it can die to destroy creature spells, and it is an enchantment, so it technically can die to enchantment killer spells, destroy enchantments. So it is pretty easy to kill for almost anyone. But again, it's got reach. It goes based off land. You've been putting a bunch of lands in your hand, and if you got lucky and you had one in your graveyard, you can put one from the graveyard in there. So yeah, this could be very good, or it could be eh. But I will go towards the good side for sure. I think it's going to see a lot of limited play, some standard play. All right, next one is Dragon Commie Reborn. All right, it's a 2 and a green. All right, first 2 steps are you gain 2 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down with a hatching counter on it. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Let me read that again. Get 2 life. Cool. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Awesome. Scry 3. Wait. You get to take one of those, put a hatching counter on it, face down, and then put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. This is going to be wildly important. And I want to tell you this right now. You're going to take the most expensive card, more than likely, and put a hatching counter on it. And this is why. Because after you exile it, you get Dragon Commie's Egg. Alright, really cool card, by the way. But anyway, this is an enchantment creature egg. It says whenever Dragon Commie's Egg or a dragon you control dies, you may cast a creature spell from among cards you own in exile with a hatching counter on them without paying its mana cost. Keyword there, without paying its mana cost. This is a 0/1. This thing can die to anything. Anything that does damage, this thing can die to. Alright. Next, you put your Tiamat in there. You put your Hellkites or Imistrum Predators or Goldspans or anything. You've got all the Dragon Matters spells already in this deck. All right, this is going to be one of those add into my 5-color dragon deck that is dragons matter, dragons matter, dragons matter, dragons matter. And this thing's going to go get your dragon if you're playing in Commander because you have unlimited card availability. But I mean in Standard, oh, this is going to be one of those a bit jank, but when you see this card come out and that person's already got a couple dragons on there, oh boy, you're going to be in for some fun, because when those dragons die, they're just going to bring all those dragons back that have hatch counters on them, or they bring a board wipe, you know, and be able to wipe everything else. They killed up because they only had one other dragon out there, so like, hey, you killed my one dragon, I got my board wipe, so I cleaned all yours off, and it killed my dragon commie egg because it's only a 0/1, and I go get the other thing that has been sitting in with a hatching counter on it. So this could be pseudo wildly powerful. I really like it. Oh man, if I get one game in where this gets massive board wipe, like stupid expensive board wipe that kills everything, and a like dragon as my other hatching, and I time it right where they kill one of my Goldspan dragons or whatever, get that board wipe everything, get my dragon. Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Anyway, next card. Amazing card. Teaching of Karen. Teaching of Karen. All right, we're gonna mill 3 cards and create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Not excited yet. I'm not a self-mill guy personally. I don't like it unless you've got a executable way to get do a lot of graveyard fun. Not a fan of it. But this does work well with that whole get a land out of your graveyard synergy. So maybe. All right. Second step: put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Straight up, just get a counter. Okay. Lame. There's a lot of things that do it for all creatures, not just one creature. But anyway, when it hits turn 3 and it exiles, you get Karen touched. Oh, Jesus. This is the worst set to start out on. So anyway, you get this enchantment creature Snake Monk, right? Really cool looking card. Really cool because it's a Snake Monk. But whenever this Snake Monk attacks, you choose one, all right? You exile target creature card from a graveyard. When you do, create a 1/1 colorless spirit token. Or you can exile target non-creature card from a graveyard. So not just mine, yours, or the other opponents if you're in Commander, like any graveyard. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So it basically does everything on the front. It just depends on which card you exile, and so you don't have to do this this graveyard hate on your own graveyard. You can graveyard hate theirs until they run out of cards. And if you're building stuff up, they're going to be blocking. They're going to be doing stuff to try to get rid of this. So they're probably going to have cards in their graveyard. So this can really build up quick. I'm very thirsty. This is cool. I like it a lot. A little bit of self-protection there. If you exile non-creature cards, you can put the 1/1s on it. Make it a little bit harder to kill because it is a 1/1. It dies to everything. But we'll go to the next one. Alright, Kami War. This is my favorite saga so far. Alright, this is one in a Wooburg. Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls in step 1. That is really good. Alright, anytime you get to exile a non-land permanent is awesome. Doesn't quite get around hexproof, but it gets around everything else. So I like that a lot. Step 2, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Then each opponent discards a card. So you get to bounce and then mill their hand for 1. That's really, really, really cool. So yeah, granted, this is 6 CMC, so we're talking a lot of investment, a lot of time, a lot of getting here, and this could be dead in your hand for long after turn 6. But first 2 steps, mint. I love this kind of control. So we'll go to the next one and see what the backside is. The backside is Kagachi Made Manifest. All right, this is an enchantment creature, Dragon Spirit. So much like the mythics that we've had already, all the Dragon Spirits, except it's an enchantment creature. Okagachi Made Manifest is all color, so it has Wooburg built into it, which can matter, especially for dragons. So, flying and trample. It's got Flample. Whenever Okagachi Made Manifest attacks, defending player chooses a non-land card in your graveyard. Return that card to your hand. Okagachi Made Manifest gets +X/+0 until end of turn when X is the mana value of that card. This could be really good or really depending on how much is in your graveyard. If you've been milled a lot and you've got a lot of lands in there, then this could be really bad and you're really not getting anything because... well, no, I'm sorry, choose a non-land card. But still, even then, if you've milled, you've used 1, 2, 3 mana spells, they're probably not going to go in for anything that exiles or destroys because they really don't want to lose their stuff. But they're gonna go for that cheaper 1 mana, 2 mana dorks that do dumb stuff that aren't really worth anything in the late game. But it's only gonna turn this Flample into a 7/7 or an 8/8 or 9/9 even, or a 7/6 to a 9/6, somewhere in that range. Highly doubt they're gonna put something like the Commie War back in your hand and turn this into a 12/6 and ruin their day. However, I absolutely love this card. This is my favorite card of the sagas. So, to wrap it up, let's go ahead and see how I rank these. Alright, so I actually missed one. In my rankings, there's 12 of them, which would make more sense because I was kind of wondering why there was 11. When I was setting the video up, I missed the, what was it called? The moth, or befriending the moths. So that's in here somewhere. Probably is like it's probably 7.5. That's probably where I'd put it. But anyway, number 1 is the Commie War. This is my favorite card by far. I know, Wooburg, hard to get, hard to do, but man, if you get to pull that off, that card is just powerful. And you got the Dragon Commie Reborn. Just, again, you see the list. It's amazing. The Modern Age is booty. Heir of Enlightenment, meh. Again, and it's funny because if you just go back, 23 minutes probably, we're probably talking about Heir of Enlightenment or Machido's Reign of Truth. And I kind of said I liked them a lot. But when you look at all the other cards, it just doesn't hold, they just don't hold a candle to the life of Toshiro Umazima or the Commie War. Like, I had a hard time doing the top 5. But I also had a very hard time doing the bottom 7. Because the bottom 7 were just Shattered Slate, the Shattered States era. That's a good card. So maybe the top 6 was hard to do. Bottom 6 was a lot harder to do because figuring out, like, I literally built the top 6 and then I was looking through the cards on my other screen and I just started typing them all in and I just moved them up and down. I was like, okay, is this one good? No. Yeah, so that's our list. Minus the befriending the moths. I'm sorry. I messed up. Video 2. Oh well. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will try to get back to you and see what you think. This was fun. I really did enjoy ranking these and going through the saga. So I want to know what you guys think. What was your favorite saga? Leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Obviously, all the YouTube stuff. I don't have a Patreon set up yet, even though I probably wouldn't get your Patreon right now anyway, because I'm not that big. But hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and especially if you've made it to this point. I know I'm only 20, 30 minutes into this, but boy, that was a lot of information. So again, if you get the Commie War, I want you to take that Commie War, and I want you to put it aside and say, as soon as I get a Wooburg Dragon Commander deck, I'm putting this bad boy in there. Because that is such a good card. Such a good card. Everything else is pretty good, but man, the Commie War, I killed it. Until next time, guys, I will have another video up tomorrow. I might even have another one up tonight if I have enough time. It is getting late, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this. As always, stay safe and God bless.